Thank you. Before we commence the meeting, if you could switch your phones off or put them on silent, please, so that we're not interrupted. Thank you. Notice of the Town Council meeting. You are hereby summoned to attend a meeting at the Town Council to be held in the main hall, Hemsworth Town Council Community Centre, Bullenshaw Road, Hemsworth, commencing at 7 p.m. on Thursday, the 3rd of February 2022, for the purpose of transacting the following business. I will straight on to item number 1. Item number 1, apologies for absence. To receive apologies for absence and to consider and approve the reasons for the absence.
Councillor Pringle, Mr. Chairman.
Councillor Pringle. Item number 2, declarations of interest. Council should declare pecuniary and non-pecuniary interest in any item on this agenda. Have we got any of it? I think there's one at Newstead, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there's 2 of them.
2 at Newstead. Thank you.
Economic area for holiday.
Item number 3, public question time. To receive questions from members of the public. So if any member's got a question for myself, the town clerk or any councillors, I'd just like to mention that if you can strictly keep it to business and enter Kingston Fitzwilliam, I'd appreciate that, and enter town council business. If you do put a question to any councillors and they feel that they don't want to answer it, they have the right to refuse to answer it. So yeah, I'll start with you.
Obviously on social media there's lots of information about LP 763 Club Terrace. I've attended council meetings where it's been discussed about obviously taking it out of Greenbelt to put it into residential, and I've seen a document that's dated the 8th of the 12th 20 that the town clerk actually filled in, and on that it actually says that you've had discussions with developers. What I would like to know is it one developer, a number of developers, and also has anybody else, any councillors shown an interest in Club Terrace?
Well, I'll answer it best I can, and then if Alan wants to come in, come in. Club Terrace is former allotment site, which this council decided to apply to Secretary of State to change it from Greenbelt to Brownbelt. That process went in front of Planning Inspector on 3rd of December this year, taking just over 2 years to get to that point. When this application went into Secretary of State, there were an interest from a developer, because this particular developer has purchased the land outside of that site, which I think you're probably aware of, and obviously they got an interest in it. They asked the council then if they could do a survey on this site, which is only a surface survey for knotweed and asbestos, and the council agreed to allow them onto the site to conduct this survey because it was detrimental to valuation at site depending on what needed remediating. And then an application went in to LDF, same as Cable Road Complex. Vice versa, one wanted to put it back into leisure and rec, it wanted to tidy it up, Cable Road Complex. The other one was from Greenbelt to Brownbelt because it's been defunct for about 28, 29 years. And so basically that's where we were, but only one developer showed an interest in it, and that's the developer that purchased the land adjacent to it. And since then we've engaged Sanderson Weatherall, valuer surveyors, to value the land and to put it out basically to tender. They will deal with it, and when the tenders come in, the tenders will be open in front of members of council, and obviously it's up to members which tender they're going to take. So that's basically the process that the council's gone through and had to go through, and that's where we are at this stage.
So what I asked is, have any councillors shown any interest?
No.
that's fine, just so that that's clear.
Yeah. No,
Thank
there's
you.
no councillors showing an interest in that side. Any further questions from members of the public? Thank you for that. Then
Could I just ask one, Chair, please?
Yeah, Derek.
Could I just ask Alan if we've got any further on with this green spaces status or village green status down at the water park? You mean put it in trust?
Pardon?
Potentially put it in trust, you mean?
Oh,
I didn't know. I think if you mean put it in trust, that
You
would be
put it in trust, or
to look to put it in trust.
it's well, at last meeting I were at, it was like a green spaces we were considering, or a village green status. Have you made any inquiries?
It's not a village green though. We could put it into trust, but it's been deferred for the time being.
But he did ask
Well,
about the village green.
You see, that's,
Apologies, I'll look into that, but I doubt.
You know, concerns were like it's quite a few years ago. Like there were attempts made to encroach onto that water park land. And it's to stop that, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, you did say, Alan, that you would look into that.
I remember the trust element of it, but I don't remember the village green.
No,
I
you
promise
didn't.
you that.
Discussing village green, I mean, village green is a charitable.
Village greens have a special status. I may be wrong, I don't think I would qualify, but I'll find out.
I think the concerns that councillors and members of the public have that live in our community township is that it stays in perpetuity, you know, that it's kept up members of the public and people of this township, and that's what we don't want to happen. I think the feeling here is 100% that these councillors and members of the public want to keep it as a public body,
Yeah.
and all you're wanting to know is to make sure that, you know, obviously as years go on, that it's safeguarded, yeah. So if you can have a look at that, Alan, and you know, we'll probably can get it on the agenda for next meeting.
Mr. Kenyon, you know, Venga Boys, is that still going ahead, or are we looking at that as cancelling it, or?
No, that, as far as we're concerned, it's still going ahead.
You know, a concern of mine is that you've sold 295 tickets. What's stopping people sitting in Bailey Park and listening to them?
Well, they can, but
But they can, so they don't have to pay £53
no,
to listen to Venga Boys. They can sit in Bailey Park
it's
and listen.
£32 for adults and £15 for children or concessions.
But free to sit in Bailey Park.
You can say that if you go to Lincoln festivals or Round Day Park, that sit on banking and watch it. But people do like to go and be engaged in these festivals.
Right. 295 of them like to go and sit and be.
Well, because of COVID, the council has not had time to promote it properly.
So how much more money are you going to spend on advertisement before you reach 4,000
Well,
tickets
the-
needed?
The issue with this is that it was a corporate decision made by council
Yeah.
to engage this festival. Unfortunately, because of COVID, it had to be cancelled in August 2019.
Yeah.
It was then brought back to council, and because we'd signed contracts and everything, it was agreed, a corporate decision again, that the council would progress it and carry on. And then, because you've signed contracts, you know, you still have to pay some of these artists anyway.
Would it have been a better corporate decision not to have it on a Queen's Jubilee? Would you have sold more tickets if it weren't on that weekend?
You know, I mean,
No.
this next few weeks will tell, because it's going to be promoted.
Another few weeks, we're going to spend another £7,000 on advertising, probably sell another what? In 2 weeks' time, where do you expect to be with ticket sales to make it profitable for us?
Well,
So we're not paying for it.
I think, you know.
No, you think you've done a corporate decision on this.
Yeah, we
You
have,
should
but
be led to tell us.
what I've already explained to you is we've had
You can't blame everything on
No, we've had
COVID.
hiccups because of COVID and everything's been
No.
shut down.
Can I just
People
say,
now.
we've got a meeting
No,
on
just a minute,
28th about
Maxine.
it.
No, just a minute. I'm answering this gentleman, then I'll come to you.
Do you not talk to me like that?
Yeah, well, I'm answering
I'm
this
just telling him we've
gentleman.
got a meeting on 28th.
Well, you put your hand up and then put it
Well,
forward.
we'll all put it up.
So basically where we are now is contracts are signed and we have to progress with it.
Right.
And it weren't one person's decision, it was a corporate decision from council. And like I said, you'd still have to pay so much money out anyway.
That at what point are you willing to say, It's wrong.
It's
not
back in
gonna
front
work.
of council on 28th, and then it'll be reviewed again on 28th of this month.
Right, and at 28th, by 28th of February,
Yes.
sorry, yeah, you're expecting to have enough ticket sales to see how we're going forward.
Yes.
So if ticket sales don't make above 400 by 28th, you're going to cancel.
Well, that's up to members.
Well, members are here.
Yeah, well, that's up to
Ask 'em.
members. You can't ask them on that, it's not on the agenda, but it's up to members on 28th.
So basically, we're going to get stuck till 28th.
That's your opinion.
We're not, don't worry, we're
Right,
not.
so, item number 4, ask per minute number 262, 2021-22, to consider which items on the agenda should be, have a recorded vote.
Mr. Chairman, I've had a prior notice from Councillors Moran and Middleton, and they requested agenda items 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 27, 29, ECD.
We're all happy with that, yeah? Item number 5, town council meetings, to approve the minutes of the council meetings held on 2nd of December 2021. Can I have a mover, please? Committee and subcommittee meetings, to adopt the minutes of the committee and respective subcommittee meetings as follows. Leisure and Recreation on 6th of January 2022, Finance 20th of January 22, and Policy and Planning 2022. Have a mover, please. Move along. Item number 7, accounts for payment, to confirm the payment of accounts and approve at the Financial Committee meeting held on 20th of January 2022. We all in favour to approve these, yeah? Item number 8, correspondence. The town clerk to report on correspondence in respect of the following. Alan?
First, item A, Mr. Chairman, from a parishioner regarding the festival. I'll read it verbatim. The town clerk has already told me there was no public consultation around the proposal of the summer festival. Why was this? The festival being put to council is not what I mean. I'd like to know why members of the public were not asked whether they want the summer festival.
There were consultation, I think it went to 2 or 3 meetings with council and members of the public that attended at these meetings, and the council decided to progress with this festival on a corporate decision, which we're entitled to do. So nothing we're doing wrong or below belt, so to speak. Next one, Alan.
From a parishioner asking that now that the case with Saw Construction has ended, will HTC be issuing a full apology to former Labour councillors who were unfairly accused of gross misconduct, amongst other things?
Well, have we got written proof that somebody's accused other councillors of gross misconduct?
But you said that, Jimmy, didn't you?
No,
At some point.
I mentioned things about the deal that was done, that took 6.5 years, public money, and 6.5 years of costs and everything.
I think you called
And it-
Labour
just
Council
1 minute,
corrupt.
Just 1 minute. And it took 6.5 years. If I called anybody or council corrupt, then at the end of the day, it's up to them to take me to task and sue me on that.
We didn't put them to task with a forensic report on the audit, on the accounts.
That was only part of the new council taking over from
All right.
Labour. Let me just reiterate here. This council did a deal. They paid district value of £47,000 to put a deal together. The deal said that this building and Sandygate had to be done to specifications. That one did into contracts. We have to pay £4,000 for extractor fans in there. It had to be totally rewired. We've had to put an alarm system in here. It's had a new boiler. Now this is for a building that cost £2 million. Sandygate, it states in flyers here, which you can have a copy if you like, that 1.1 million will be spent on super football facilities. When we finally got the costings out, it was 468,000.
Business, that, you mean it?
No, it's not
The
business.
thing
not-
is,
not
it was
just
signed off, by the football committee saying it was fit and perfect.
No, you're wrong, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It
Steve
was.
Wells,
It
Steve
was.
Wells presented, it was signed off by councillors. Steve Wells
No.
presented a damning report, and I'll tell you what damning report said.
How much did that cost?
It said it didn't cost us anything, it was a report that was done when it was built. And Steve Wells said there's 840 square metres of astroturf missing. There should have been 6 metres at either end of astroturf for runoffs and 3 metres on either side. So that was a loss to this community and a substandard astroturf facility.
All same thing.
There were also, if you had a report on it, we're under that when we were on council in 2011, am I right?
Oh, we haven't had
Yeah,
one.
Steve Wells' report. Well,
Ah.
if anybody wants a copy of that report,
Oh, is it? Anyway.
Steve Wells, this council, before we were on, engaged Steve Wells to do a survey, and it was a damning survey on that, it weren't built to specifications. Like I said, there were 840 square metres of astroturf missing, the drainage in the main field weren't adequate, it weren't herringbone, and the junior pits that were an afterthought, that had to be equivalent to or better than Exception E4, to match what we've lost at the complex, had no drainage in. There were nets put up that were marked out, there were no drainage in. Like I said, it was totally substandard. There's no ball recovery gate on AstroTurf, and I can go on and on. There were no clubhouse that were promised on the right, Eddie, up there. All specifications, we were short-changed all the way down. But it's a council decision at that time, and the council's made a decision to accept it. This council, with independents, would not have accepted it. But that's the boat we were left in. It's like a directorship. When you take over a company, you've got to accept what's happened prior to before you.
So you're saying that Labour Council signed this building over with all its defaults and everything?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes,
I don't know if this clown is in back who keeps saying yeah, but I'm talking to you, Jimmy, not the bloke behind you.
Yeah, well, there's no need to refer
So-
to anybody like that.
No, no,
I
if you can just keep,
I
if you
can't
can
hear
keep
you.
it quiet while I'm speaking to you.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, nobody spoke, nobody spoke, John.
Oh, yeah.
So that is a lot of feeling from us. Yes, Maxine.
Can I ask what Steve Wells is? Which company is it from?
Yeah, Steve Wells is a sports specialist company that this council, Labour Council, prior to us being in, engaged that when these facilities were done, he came and inspected them. And the Sandygate report that came out was a damning report. Alan will have a copy if you want to have a look at it. If you can't find it, I've got a copy at home. And it was a damning report. Like I said, it cut corners all the way around. We never got what we wanted. And that what main complaint of football players. That what they said is if it had left us up there equivalent or better, which what equivalent to Sports England Exception E4, there wouldn't have been all arguments. And then the other thing going into it, with the contract side of things, why did it take 6.5 years not to conclude this deal? Me and Maxine went in, yeah, we sat there for 7.5 hours in planes, but at the end of the day, we thrashed out a deal, we got it done. That delay cost Saul over 150,000 in legal costs. It cost them the town council a considerable amount in legal costs. But fortunately, we got a deal done. We I think there's some of these notes been passed around here. We entered the town council in 2015, waived interest on any costs. But we sat there at that meeting and we finished up getting 182,000 as a settlement, interest or whatever you like, to help towards cost of its costers. And we also kept the £50,000 section 106 that he gave. So in total, that meeting that we did mediation, we finished up with 232,000.
And how much did it cost in your legal fees?
Which we want to go. Well, we've had them paid because we've got this extra money from developer.
But obviously that legal fees have come out of the 250,000. Or you're saying developers paid your legal fees?
It was something that we had to do. This deal had to be completed one way or the other. We gave so in 6 months at the last election, 2019, time to complete. If he'd have completed and sat down like he did in Leeds and with a plus cards on tables, we'd have all saved money, John. But he didn't. He didn't complete. He then asked for another time to complete, which he failed to do. And then 2.5 years on, he then suddenly took us to court, if you like. So we were defendants in a case that we had to defend to complete. So we've got to ask yourself, why didn't you do this 6 years ago? Or why didn't you do this when we asked him to complete? It cost us all money. But at the end of the day, we finished up with £182,000 plus the £50,000 Section 106 money. And,
Minus
and we can move forward now. We can look to investing on shortfalls on Sandygate.
You might have to save some of
I
that
mean,
for
what you've
Wenger
got-
boys.
Another thing what you've got to think about is there were floodlights down at the old complex. If it were equivalent or better, there's no floodlights at Sandygate, only on AstroTurf. At AstroTurf, to be honest with you, it's not fit for purpose. There's no runoffs on it. You know, you can't use it for games. A lot of teams that used to rent that don't rent it now because there's better facilities at High School and at Featherstone and at
No
Shafton.
facilities.
Better
Mr. Chairman,
facilities that
Mr. Chairman,
can.
can I just say, the other
No
thing,
changes
this
every year
building,
on it.
this building cost £2.25 million. Does anybody really think that it cost that to produce this building? The other thing, there was no quotations, no tenders, no nothing. It were all done as an exercise to write off as much money as the 4.5 million down there, and we all know that.
That's your opinion, yes.
It's not a builder, is it?
There's a lot of information
It's a
being
special
shared at the moment. I'm just wondering how this relates to the question that was asked.
Well, what question that this gentleman asked?
I think the gentleman referred to the question that was on the email.
Wenger boys.
And
They brought Wenger boys in.
it was about the corrupt. It was a separate question. It was about the corrupt.
Yeah,
The accusation.
whatever were mentioned regarding corruption, what I've just explained to you.
So are you justifying the comments that were made, or are you saying that you didn't say that? That's what we're trying to get our heads around.
No, what I'm saying is that it might have been spoken, but what I'm saying is you like everybody, your opinion. You make your own opinion on what I've said. If you think that we got as money with this building, and it what a specification, and Sandygate what a specification, well, what do you think? The thing is with this, if the developer had a swimming pool built and it was 10 metres shorter than what it should be, do you think he'd have carried on paying it?
Oh.
But the Labour Council did, they accepted it, and they shouldn't have done.
Why not? It was
So
spot
what's
on.
the answer?
You are. Look at Steve Wells' report, it weren't spot on, no it weren't spot on.
I still don't think we've got an answer to the question that was asked.
I believe
Just gone round
Sport
houses
England
on
condemned that one. Sandygate.
Sport England would not.
But they signed a paper saying it was fit
Sport
for
England
purpose.
condemned it,
Yes,
I've got
they did.
paperwork
They
here
signed
if
it
you
off,
want
Sport
it.
England.
Yeah.
I saw
Sport
that
England
paperwork.
signed it
No,
off.
what
Yeah.
Sport England
And
said,
they signed it off.
yeah, what Sport England said, because the council accepted it, that, you know, that they couldn't really go any further, but what they did say was that these facilities that they've got, they would not put any funding into it, am I right, Eric? Because they didn't meet exception E4, equivalent or better.
Just
The
another.
site, for a start, there's a letter there from council and from developer that states halfway through development up at Sandygate, due to site restraints, he's had to reconfigure it. Then it never went in accordance with plans that were passed at Wakefield.
Just another one, Jimmy, quick one this. Have you got any other allotments you're going to sell off? You know what I mean?
We've not sold any allotments.
Not yet,
John.
not yet, but
No.
is Grove Lane going to be the next one?
No.
Do you think it could be?
We've invested heavily on other allotments, moving rubbish and asbestos and everything, lasted for 3 years.
Yeah. So in a comment you made today to somebody who I'm not going to mention, you said you wouldn't be surprised if Grove Lane allotments weren't going to be next development site and the roads down on that path. Am I correct?
No.
So, right, that's fine, that's fine.
No, I've never quoted that.
I know you.
At the end of the day, I've got relatives that's got allotments on Grove Lane.
So they're going to be
and
there.
Springfield.
No,
I've always stood up for them when me and Stan stood up when they wanted Cockerells
Yeah,
removing. Am I
absolutely.
right, Stan? And everybody knows that. The reason why the Fitzwilliam site was put forward,
Yeah,
and it's been done properly, not like Kirby Road Complex was done, put to one person, all done under dud. It took 3 years to get a copy of them contracts, and then we had to go to court to get them. And the judge and the ICO all stated that a public document that should be in public domain.
are there closed tenders for Newstead allotments and you know, when the,
Once
obviously,
they come in, they'll probably be close tenders, what members to open and decide who they want to.
not to public then, we can't see that when tenders,
The,
well,
Confidential.
the
well,
tenders,
yeah, it's confidential till they happen, didn't it?
Yeah, but once they're open and we decide, or members decide who they're going to pick, then obviously it'll go out into public
Well,
domain.
surely it should go to highest bidder.
Well, that's up to members, sometimes it don't work that way. Yes, Maxine?
Could I ask if we could consider it going into something for Fitzwilliam, like a sports centre or something,
I mean, the value.
instead of building houses on it? People don't want houses
Yeah,
on
you
it.
just have
I
to
mean,
put
to
it-
do anything really, you've got to,
Yeah,
got
but
to
they're
be
not
taken out
here
of
with
green belt, put back on the brown belt, so.
You're not with sport, we're not with sports, we've got football fields and stuff, you leave it as green,
No,
we
you-
have recreation.
Well, like I said, it's
Like
gone
it
through,
already is.
it's gone through process
It
now,
already
so
is on that,
next-
isn't it?
You know, your next stage will be either.
But
But
you've never considered that, even though you have been asked before.
well, we're asked by one particular group or person that'd like to use it or lease it.
They offered to clear it up.
It was a
Football field
corporate
next to
decision
for
that,
kids,
it was a corporate decision that,
and they got refused.
it was a corporate decision that council decided to do the
That was a
process that
corporate
they've done.
decision. But don't you think Fitzwilliam deserves something?
Is this the same land what come up last meeting over the rubber matting?
No, that's not
No.
Ulster.
That's Newstead. It's in
This is
Fitzwilliam,
Club
like.
Terrace, this is it city.
right, yeah.
This is its city, but it's it was brought up and it's
We're going to put it.
So if I can move progress then,
this is it.
correspondence again, email competition regarding soil construction, we're on item C, item 8C, Alan.
Yeah, it's a letter from a parishioner regarding Wakefield Council's local plan. I've spoken to the lady concerned and there are about 18 questions. So I will write to her next week on behalf of the council, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And item D, Alan.
Thank you. Yeah, it's from a parishioner thanking the council to make sure overhanging bushes and rubbish was removed from land adjoining my property.
Item number 9, code of conduct training, the town clerk to report accordingly.
This has been arranged, Mr. Chairman, for all members on the 5th of April in the evening.
Item number 10, decision-making training, to consider decision-making training for councillors. Alan?
It's Councillor Brown, Mr. Chairman.
Well, yep.
Yeah, so this is something that I noticed before I came on the council very recently, and I think it's been echoed today as well, that there's some questions being asked around this decision making that the council make and how they come to decisions that they do make. Al and I have both looked into official training, and it's very corporate. It wouldn't be the right level for the town council. I've taken some advice from a colleague of mine who does decision-making training in the workplace. And one of the things that I'd like to suggest is that we almost have a collaborative learning session. So it's not official training where we all sit in a room and someone tells us what to do, but come together as a council and think about the factors that we need to take into consideration when we're making a decision. Whether that be, financial, how it impacts the community, whether it's environmental, and come up with almost a crib sheet that says, these are the things we're going to think about every time, because I do think that decisions are made often without taking full consideration of the entire decision.
Yeah.
Well, not just this council, but previous councils.
This council,
sorry,
went
that's
that,
council.
Yeah, but I'm saying-
previous is gone.
Not just this council, but previous councils. If it's been on a decision-making thing, then obviously if it's planning or whatever, they've got the experts in to do it, planning solicitor or surveyors. But, if you think that we can probably make a decision without using them, then
It's not, no, I'm not suggesting that at all. What I'm suggesting is, we make decisions in this room every month or whatever that impact these people that are, in our community. And I don't think that we ask the right questions. I don't think that the right things are taken into consideration. And I think if you've got a wealth of experience around this table, if we all got together and thought about how we approach those decisions, and just have a list in front of us when we get the meeting notes and go, you know what, I'm going to think about this in a different way because we've learned from each other.
Transparency of working all like
Yeah,
that.
I've not got a problem with that. Are we all in favour of that? Moving
Yeah.
forward with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's been asked before, like, so let's hope it
Good on you, love.
get listened to, yeah, brilliant.
Item 11, Policy and Planning Subcommittee to consider disbanding in a Policy and Planning Subcommittee and to disperse with the services of its advisors. Well, that subcommittee were always set up to deal with the completion and sale of Kirby Road Complex. So now that it's been completed, contracts have been signed and everything on 22nd of December, there's no need for that. So I think everybody's agreed that it's...
Does that mean
disbanded
Mr.
anyway.
Pringle won't be on council payroll now to do up with Saul's land?
Sorry?
Won't Mr. Pringle on as a...
Oh, never on the payroll.
Oh, so
Mr. Cook.
you did it...
Never had a penny. So
Right.
don't make accusations you can't back up.
Right, that's fine then, I will find that out.
No,
So-
there's nothing to find out. I've never had a penny.
So you're just a free consultation fee?
Can-
Okay,
Can we
no
come to
fee,
order?
no
please?
fee, no nothing.
I'll hold my hand up to that if you haven't been paid, that's fine. It's like...
So, on item number 11 then, that committee basically disbanded anyway on 22nd of December and once it was completed. We all had meetings together, I think, on 2 occasions and took the advice, so that's gone. Item number 12, public consultation, significant expenditure to consider a policy of conducting a public consultation prior to committing significant expenditure.
Well, I believe that if we're going to spend so much money, we need to put it out to people to see what they think. I don't think we should keep spending money on how we are doing.
It's just wasting it, isn't
Yeah,
it?
we need to have proper meetings like Donna says, and we need to then put it out to the public. They need to have a say in what we do, not.
But that's what you're elected for, to make decisions.
No, we're elected
But we're
to
elected
listen to them.
We're elected to do what the people
Yeah.
ask us to do.
So,
So
what's your ceiling then? If we spend £5,000, we've got to go out, or 10,000 go out,
I think it should be 5,000.
5,000.
I think we should start being open and transparent to everybody.
Yeah. I think it should be open and transparent, but it's open and transparent tonight. All these items are on the agenda. We're coming up to items about procuring the lift.
We're on the bar.
And heating system.
Yeah.
If you want to put them out to public consultation, you'll be 6 months maybe before you can get it done. You've got to put flyers around everybody's letterbox. No, all I'm saying, I'm just explaining it's down to members then, Maxine. You put flyers to everybody's letterbox, 13,000 people, right, that if you're going to consult everybody, that's got to be done.
No.
Then you've got to wait for these to come back in. You're never going to get any business done. I'll agree with you on a certain threshold, maybe 80 or 90,000.
No.
But for 5 or 4,000, you're not going to get your business done and move progress, which these members that are all here have been elected to represent people to do that.
So what would be a sensible amount then? If 5,000 is too low, what is it 20 grand?
No, I think...
I mean, the Venga Boys was £80,000, so setting it at
Well,
90 is
So we go
isn't
for
it?
90 then, so that went
Just a minute, that's a figure,
Don't you feel
that's
you're
a figure
saying
that
what
we're
was
over the top,
Yeah.
just in case there were any
So
influence.
what
So what I'm saying is
sensible
that
option
figure will probably come down about 15,000 to 20,000 mid-time it's leveled
Mid-time
out.
with
Sorry,
council.
I'm giving an example. Let's forget about the Venga Boys. What would be a sensible number? Is it 10 grand? Is it 20 grand?
Well,
What happens in other councils, Alan?
Obviously, it's up to members, but members may think it's a bit high, but it could tally with the figure when it has to go out to tender, which is £25,000. So any expenditure of 25,000 or above would have to go out to tender anyway. So it would be sensible for it to do that. Members might wish it to be lower.
which is what we've already got in place.
Sure.
No, the tender bit.
No, the tender bit's acknowledged for the consultation.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
And again, according to Alan's notes as well, he has sort of mentioned that this is just a vote to set do we agree with it? And then we'd have to agree maybe at a different meeting the amount and what we would consider public consultation. Public consultation could be, it's in the meeting minutes and we put it in X amount number of shop windows and all the libraries. That could be classed as public consultation.
That's what public
Yeah,
consultation is.
exactly.
Vote.
No, no consultation, like people come back and say, we think this, we think that, blah, blah, have their ideas come forward to you. It's almost what happens with the planning policy, isn't it, in the council?
Chair.
Maybe some people don't think public
Yes,
ought to
Jean.
have a
So if we have a disaster, God forbid we never do, if something happens in this council, to the building, whatever, we have then, because it's going to be over 20,000, 25,000, we have then got to wait while we consult the public. Well, this is what it sounds like.
Clauses in it, though,
You
don't
have to
you?
consult the bit.
If it's that bad,
Wouldn't do
though,
it for
show
you.
it
Just a
insurance
minute,
will
just
come
one
in.
minute.
John,
I never spoke while
we've had a
everybody
public
else was
question
speaking.
time.
Yeah.
Can you let,
Yeah, yeah.
this is debate for members now, if you'll just give order, please.
So then we have to pitch consultation, we have to wait then that to come back, then we have to wait while we've got the relevant committee, which is the town council, where the most decision making is made. And we could have something that needs to be done. We already put it, when we put the tenders out, 25,000, we've already got a limit now. And I do think that, you know, if we're spending a lot of money now, because of the public and how the public are feeling, yeah, we should consult them. But we don't need to consult them on that amount, on the 25, over 25,000 plus to tenders, then it's to council, comes to council, we make that decision. I don't think that should go to public.
I think for essential maintenance, you can put a clause in there. You know, if the roof collapsed, nobody's going to expect you to wait to go for a vote. But, and I don't think Maxine was suggesting that at all. I think what Maxine was suggesting was things like concerts, spend down at the water park. You know, if you want to, I don't know, buy a load of new tables and chairs and stuff. It's that sort of spend we're talking about, not essential maintenance.
I'm sorry, but Maxine said £5,000, which is, you know, it's not. It's
Yeah,
not,
but that's-
it's
It's
not
a
going
starting
to
point
work.
for the discussion, though, isn't
It's
it?
not gonna
We've
work.
had a recommendation from Alan, and as it says in the notes, we don't have to agree what that is now. It's, do we think that some level should be set to go out to the public and do public consultation? That's what we're voting on. We're not voting on how much it is at this point.
Why aren't we voting on how much it is?
Well, we say we need to sort
Might
it
as
now.
well have a figure
If you
tonight
don't,
Yeah,
Well,
we
yeah,
have
that's
a figure
fine.
tonight,
Have a
haven't
vote on
we?
a figure then.
Why are we having another meeting over a figure?
I'm just saying what it says in there.
No, I'm asking a question.
Well, I don't know answer.
Oh.
Sorry, this is for Alan.
Right.
So the proposal is that if we spend up to or over £5,000, what Maxine's put on, it goes out to consultation. My view is we put a figure on it tonight, and then once we get to that figure, depending what it is, it can go out to consultation. If it's, you know, maintenance or urgent
I say
repairs,
10,000 grand.
if it's maintenance or urgent repairs, then obviously we've got to make a decision ourselves. I mean, that's what you voted in for. We've got to get that done. But because we've got £25,000 where we have to get tenders in, let's leave it at 25,000. Are we all in favour of that? 25,000, yeah? Yeah, just 1 minute.
I think public are going to turn around a right load of dummies here. They can't make a decision now. Are you killing
Obviously they can't, because of what
Yeah, but we haven't voted yet, have we? So we vote, and we've logged out who's voted for it and against it. And then the public can make the decisions on who we think's right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we've been put here to make decisions.
yeah, well it is, yeah. So
We'll vote on it.
let's, yeah, all right, let's have a look and vote on it then. So the proposal was that if we spend over 5,000 or over, it has to go to public consultation. Who's in favour of that? Well, there's nobody in favour of that. So who's in favour that the council make the corporate decisions like they have done for the last 60, 70 years and leave it as it is? With
Sorry,
25,000
can I make an
tenders?
amendment then? Can I make an amendment to Maxine's suggestion and we set it at £25,000 as suggested by Alan?
That's already in place.
Well, that's already in
No,
place,
it's
the
not,
tenders.
no, it
Okay,
isn't.
right, put straight up then, so,
Different.
Just to
So-
the tenders policies in place.
Yes.
The consultation isn't in
right,
place.
so if we're gonna spend up to and over 25,000, your proposal is that it goes out for consultation, right, all in favour of that? 7.
I think the
Who's against that we believe that councillors should make these decisions to move forward? Michael,
That's 6.
so the consultation's carried, yeah.
first
Up to
one,
25,000. Yeah, yeah.
Can I just say something? Obviously on that, the dumper and the excavator and everything was all less than 25. I hope you're all aware of that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
because
yeah.
obviously that's what you've all had problems, that amount of money was spent on second-hand goods. So what you've just voted for won't have made any difference.
We would still vote on it though as a council.
We'd still here to vote on it, aren't we?
But what I'm saying is, us, the public, that actually put you in there, we were actually against you purchasing those.
Yeah, but what you've got to be mindful of, we needed to clear allotments and for what to work done with CAP. For what to work done with CAP dumper. So at that particular time, members did feel that we needed to get these done. Otherwise, we'd have had to hire machinery in to do it. The amount of rubble and rubbish that we moved up on allotments were phenomenal over the period. We paid for loads of skips, didn't we, Alan? And we even engaged Wakefield Council for 3 solid weeks. I had to move things that had been taken up by allotment holders from home and then given the allotments up. But we did clear what we could. And we put, I think, 80 or 90 allotments back into public use. So, machinery at that time were a viable thing. But what you've got to think about is, previous councils, when previous councils made a decision to re-roof Lakeside Cafe, that 150,000, it never went out to public consultation because it needed doing, and we accepted that. Fitzwilliam Centre, 260,000 was spent on Fitzwilliam Centre. That didn't go out to consultation because it needed for urgent work to be done. So
we did put it out.
it went out to tender then, but it didn't go out to consultation for work to be done to spend that amount of money. For Fitzwilliam Centre, which were in excess of 200,000. So anyway, look, we've got to the point, we've got a ceiling on it now, 25,000, we'll do consultation.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Item number 13, disclosure and barring services checks. To consider conducting disclosure and barring services checks on staff and councillors, which are DBS checks.
It's not just, I believe that those coming in contact with children should be, that's my opinion. Those coming in contact with children should be, DBS check.
My opinion is that you need a DBS check if you come into contact one-on-one with children. If there's other people there or parents there and you're in a room or wherever, then you don't need a DBS check.
That's not the case though, Jimmy, because all cleaners up at school need a check, and they don't come in contact one-to-one.
Alan, can you reiterate that?
It could potentially come into contact with children or couldn't it?
And potentially you could and all that.
Well, not really, because the situation the staff here would be, our councillors, you would always be somewhere, someone would with them. Either if it's a teacher visiting or their own parent, that kind of thing. So it's not mandatory. It's good practice to have them, though. I'm DBS checked, but it's not mandatory because I'm not a teacher, not a nurse school. But it's good practice. Yeah.
Just to throw something else into the mix on that, I know Max is focusing on children, but DBS checks are also required for people in contact with vulnerable adults, and as councillors, every single one of you technically could sit with someone with mental health problems, someone with autism, dementia, vulnerable adults of all sorts. In your role as councillor, you could be sitting in their living room talking to a problem they've got. And to me, a DBS check on every councillor says that we're electing trustworthy people to sit in our homes and talk to us about our problems. It's not just about the kids, it's about disabled people, vulnerable adults.
Yeah. Well, where do you go with staff? You know, where do we go with staff then? Because staff, I don't think, don't have to. And a lot of staff would probably, you know, would not want an EBS check. They're working down at Lakeside with his children in play area and different things.
Oh, yeah, you
Once
should
again,
make sure they have it.
If they don't want it, Jimmy, then they don't have to
They
it.
don't have to have it.
They've got to have it.
They don't have to have it.
Yeah, but they're working with children.
They're not working with children.
Yeah,
There's children in a play area, but they're working in cafe.
It wasn't the people down at the cafe. It was the fact that people like Santa and stuff like that I was feeling that we should have a DBS check.
But
All
what it is,
councillors and then anyone who's in contact with children.
Children, yes,
that's anyone that's in contact with children. If they're down at the
Or anybody who's employed by Hemsworth Town Council. Bang, done.
You can't do that. You can't do it, employees. You've got to ask them. It's up to
other
them.
companies do
Well,
it.
there should be
Other
a point,
companies
but
do
if
it, yeah.
it's written into a contract, but they must have a day
Just a minute, Alan. Can you come in here?
It's not written into the contracts now. You have to have one if you come into contact with a child and you're the only person, like a teacher would, that kind of thing. But in our soft play area, for example, yes, we have cafe staff there, but the kids wouldn't be there on their own, would they? They wouldn't be in the charge of that member of staff. They would be in the charge of the mother, father, guide sort of thing. So
No,
it's good practice. My advice would be to offer it to councillors and staff, but you couldn't force them.
So,
I'll happily have them done again.
what you're looking at here?
At school, they don't come in contact with that all the time.
It used to be about £50 a throw.
There's different levels as well.
There's 3 levels, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
£80 for the job.
it can go up to 110, can't it? Or whatever, like. So, I mean,
The basic one from memory is about 50 quid, but the enhanced ones cost 3 times.
I take what Alan said and different things, but I think if people are dealing one-on-one with children or they are visiting, you know, somebody who's vulnerable with mental health, then it's up to councillors for me to get the DBS check and pay for it themselves.
no.
No, we're gonna, I
Pay
think
for it yourself.
If you're going to see somebody that's mentally, you know, vulnerable, or if you've seen children one-on-one, and you know that that's going to happen, then you know you need to be DBS checked. Then I think it's up to everybody to put down in the pocket what they're doing. So,
Chairman, can I just come up on that one with DBS?
yeah.
I worked in mental health for 20 odd years, right? We had to be DBS checked, and we had to pay for it ourselves.
What would you think?
That's funny. 'Cause
Yes,
I
but
have
you were getting
an
paid for a
NHS
role. These
I don't
councillors
think
are
they did
volunteers. They're not actually paid to do what they do.
No, I was getting paid, but I had to pay for my own check.
But you couldn't do the role without it. This is an optional thing that could be offered to them.
To move progress, my proposal is that if you are coming in contact with children one-on-one or dealing with vulnerable adults, like you've been suggesting, that we can, you know, if we need a DBS check, then we pay for it ourselves.
It's not mandatory, you change yourself.
Yeah.
I disagree. I disagree with that. I'd gladly have a DBS check,
Go on, Jean.
as other councillors would, I think. But I'm not paid for it. Why should I pay for it?
That's it, love.
I mean, all I'm thinking is
that-
preset payers, you know.
Well, yeah,
You're
well,
right.
it's come on, Maxine's proposed it, that councillors should have DBS checks. Even we'll do Alan another one as well, to preset payers, and we'll have them done.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a good idea, that.
That's what she's just suggested, so that's what we'll do.
everyone, yeah.
So,
And if councillors don't want to have it done, it's
Well,
an
no,
entitled.
No, we've got
But
that done.
I'll have one done, the garden one.
That's
Alan's
right.
already said he will have one done, again.
I'm gonna put it out
I'm
to
sure other
consultation
councillors will.
cost for that, Jean.
It won't come over 25 grand, mate, you'll be
Well, yeah,
alright.
we're gonna put it out for consultation, yeah. No, I'm sorry, I'll agree to it, 100%, but I'm not paying for it, Mr Chairman.
And I think you shouldn't have to, Jean, neither. I think if councillors are going for it, there should be, the council,
been
the
put on the
town
agenda
council should
by
pay for
councillors,
it
so
to make sure
if
that
that's
everybody's
the
proper
case,
and service.
let's get them done.
so, just a minute, we need to get a costing for this, I think, so if we can defer this then to next meeting.
Anybody idea how much?
Well, it's different
When
levels.
I got that much, it's gonna cost £750 for councillors.
No, I know it's more than £50 now.
Oh, is it? Oh, well.
There's
It's
different
not
levels.
£50
You go from
now.
£800.
I know Alan's £50, I think it's more, Alan. Yeah.
It's not much.
It's relatively inexpensive.
And that was,
So, to move progress,
Can I just say, 23 quid for a basic DBS, fully announced it's 44 quid.
so what we're gonna do then, so we've got to agree tonight, then, if we have that, if it's gonna be just the regular or the enhanced one.
Basics.
Yeah, I said we have the enhanced one and then they're 100% sure that we're okay.
And
How much did you say it will now?
Mr. Chair, I recommend starting the basic because enhanced will cost quite a bit more, and from memory, they may not actually allow it, they may turn it down, they may say you don't need it at that level.
Yeah.
And they might not.
so what we're looking at then, John?
Going to the internet, it says 23 quid.
I think it's 23.
Each.
Yeah. But I ain't got a problem with anybody else.
No.
I think the thing is here,
I think chair at council should pay for us all, being done.
let's do the DBS check then. But if councillors that are here don't want to be DBS checked, I think that they have the right to.
Not more money than me.
I think everybody should have one, not just one.
Yeah.
It's one in all.
It's not in the contract.
so are we voting on it,
You know, we're probably spending over £1,000 here.
Well, I mean, Sean's just said it's £23 for a standard DBS check, so I don't think that's out of play really.
And that's £400 just for us.
I'm not
Then
trying
your
to
staff.
Well, if you make it a grand,
Take a few
just
flowers
reckon
out
it's a
of
grand, that's not much, is it, for us all, do we?
you know, £400.
That's just for us.
That's brilliant.
But I mean, it is a good thing, it safeguards it. I mean, obviously, like Jean said.
It's not only safeguarding public, it's safeguarding your and all.
So, I
I
mean,
don't-
£23.
I don't
Alan.
need to safeguard
£23.
this, and I know I'm okay.
But you know what I'm saying,
You know,
Jean,
I'd
is-
rather have it done if that's what
Yeah.
councillors want.
So, at £23, are we all in favour to have it done? But the councillors that don't want it doing, they don't have to, yeah?
Mr. Chair, is that councillors and town clerk, not offering to staff?
No, not staff.
No.
Not staff, no, not staff, no,
I
it's
don't
not in the
think Alan has to
contract.
have another one, though. I don't
If
think
it's covered, you're covered.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it.
And you've already got yours, haven't you, Alan?
I've got about a dozen. Mr. Chair.
I have, no,
I've got
mine
one, but it's from 2011, I don't think it'll be out now, but what's
It's
the limit, I
specific to
don't
where
know.
you're representing as well, so like I say, you got one from school, it wouldn't count here, it's all.
Oh,
Well, I've had two.
They won't do me like
I
that
have-
on the record.
If we can move progress then, please.
Not with that.
You know, yes, yes,
I've had two.
Item number 14, council projects, to review outstanding council projects.
So if you'll remember back to a meeting, last October, I think it was, council meeting, when I brought up about the state of the walk park, the road on the Boys Road, which I believe we've got to the link up on the commission anyway. We told about the Sandy Gate, about the Cemetery Road car park, and I specifically asked you said it would be done, and it's still not been done.
It has been done. Cemetery Road, all that soil's been moved to one side and a lot of it's been taken down to the park.
Not finished off, you mean?
Yeah, they've started putting fencing up to protect vehicles in the park there.
I've seen the fencing, it looks great, except for there's this much grass all jagged. It's not, the jobs are not getting finished off correctly. And can I just put for record, I am not getting on about council staff here at all. So, that ground staff, I'm not on about the ground staff. There's still piles of muck up at Sandy Gate, masses. You said it'd be done. We've had all this time where the park wasn't running because they were doing the storage. I saw 3 lads, not Saturday before, shoveling muck from the Vengaboy Road into Gator. So why aren't we using this digger that we've got?
Well,
Why we're not using it?
Can you
Why?
answer that?
You said these projects would be finished
No,
off.
what I said from that
No, you said
meeting
these, in that meeting, you said these projects
what
would
I
be
said,
finished
it
off.
was work in progress.
Listen
and
to
we-
him, listen
No,
to
you
what he's
listen to
saying.
me. I said, no, just a minute, it was work in progress, that's what I said, and obviously Alan will deal with it, he'll instruct staff to try and get these jobs done. There's been loads of staff
Just have a listen to
I
him.
agree with COVID, I accept COVID.
on COVID
I
and on
accept
holiday. We've had staff phone up this week, 3 main drivers that's had emergency holidays, am I right, Alan? So obviously,
Emergency holidays.
job stops
That's
when
this
they
week.
staff in.
You've had 3 months.
They've also had,
This
they've
week,
also
last
had
week.
time off. They've also had time off. You've got your basic maintenance that they do, day to day.
Yeah, same
And
again.
then these other jobs are extra and above. Alan put, staff on putting fence up, obviously to protect cars, which part of it's being done. But at the end of the day now, all the main thing is to put it to Alan to try and push to get finished what
There's
he's
still
doing.
shingle, the kids, when they're, it's
Yes,
hard, the kids
Peter.
use the shingle as.
Has everybody done?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, go on, Pete.
I doubt it, love.
I asked about the bottom lake. I've left it. I'm going to fetch it again after May. Hopefully, we might get something done. And these paths, the paths are atrocious. We've been on 3 years now, nearly, and there's nothing being done because it's been wasting time on other things.
Well, with
So I'll fetch it up again after May.
now, with Lake Speed, we've tried to secure 80,000 from Wakefield from funding to dredge that lake and put it right. So we're just waiting for green light for that. And regarding paths, obviously that's the first time. I know we've
Sorry, it's not the first time I brought up months ago about the state of the paths.
Yeah, I
With
mean,
a
we
load
did-
of shingle up at Sandy Gate that's been there for months, if not, well, as long as I've been on this council. Why isn't that on the paths? Why haven't you been digging?
They have been.
And again, I'm not having a go at the staff, the ground staff, so before I get accused of other members of staff, I'm not.
Are you on about all way in that lake, main lake?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
nothing.
it is all been done with road planings. And
Yeah,
all-
about 4 years ago. It's knackered.
No, it was done.
I walk that
it was
path
done
regularly.
About 2.5 years ago.
It's if you go up the far end near the old people's home,
Yeah.
all the work that was done on that path to make it accessible for people in wheelchairs and people with prams and stuff, it's completely gone. It's ruined. It needs redoing properly.
But it's not because I mentioned before, and it were at the time, we had torrential rain, I thought, I get why it's happened, you can't, the rain, culverts, they're still there.
It was
And this
the
is months
18th,
and
it was
months.
the 18th
So
of
just a minute
October
then.
meeting
So,
that they
Alan,
brought it up.
Can you get some tenders to tarmac or concrete?
No, we're not asking for any tarmacking.
Just speak first, I'll speak to
Why
us.
would tarmac
Just
it?
speak first, I'll
You
speak
know
to
what?
us.
We're asking to
Just speak first, I'll do the
maintain.
parking law and I'll speak to staff.
Yeah.
You need to speak
He
to
just wants to be maintained, that's what he's asking, not.
We're asking to tarmac it.
As far as I was concerned, there were road planings put down 2 years ago, all the way around that.
Well, I've not been on council 2 years. so I
And
won't
some
know.
people did complain about road planings because they couldn't push wheelchairs through. But at that particular time, we didn't have funding to take it any further for tarmac.
He didn't need it if it was done.
Yes, Pete.
We've had a quote for this before, Chair, it was 40,000 plus
Yeah.
to tarmac that path.
No, we're not putting tarmac in, we're asking for it to be maintained.
No, I'm just giving
Tarmac
you.
won't fit in with
We're
environment
adding
area.
It won't fit in with it, you don't want tarmac.
Yes, Jean.
Chair, I know you probably did say we'll get that,
bits and things
you know,
tied
that
up.
thing done, so I remember you mentioning it. But instead of, and I'm not being, facetious or anything like that against anybody about it, but instead of attacking chairman on it, we've got the line manager, we've got the manager, who's at the top of the scale, that you can come to and say, Alan, this, that, get it, it needs to be, and he could go down the line, am I correct? It's not him.
I don't think it's Jimmy's job to get the job done.
When you mentioned it to me, I passed it on,
Depends on
and I won't keep progressing.
Can I respond to that, Jade? And you are totally right. But we all know Jimmy's always down there. Jimmy's telling staff what to do.
Yeah.
Jimmy was driving trucks and diggers and this and that. I'm not saying
I don't know about that.
Tractors
Totally out of order. I've never driven that tractor or digger or dumper. I've never been on them.
Okay, I tell that.
Weren't you driving tractor up on Cemetery Road, rolling field, other day then, Jimmy?
Not tractor, no.
I think you were. I must be
No, I
seeing
weren't. The tractor's not been up on Cemetery Road because it's too wet. So you used to
I'm
be
talking
seeing
2 or
things.
3 weeks since
not wet.
now.
So I'll track what's said about driving tractors, but as we all know,
with roller on
Jimmy's
back.
up there doing stuff, and that's yeah. I'll throw John through Alan.
I was told they were up there.
See,
I went up there on a tractor now. I went up there because lads phoned me up for some advice. That's what I went up for, but I weren't on a tractor.
You shouldn't be
won't.
interfering with council business. That's
If,
part of the
if a
thing.
member of staff phones any councillor up for
And you
an
told us we
advice,
couldn't.
what's wrong with that?
You
When I
told
phoned
us
Alan
we
up-
could not
When I
give
phoned Alan
advice
up and I
to
said to
ground
Alan,
staff.
they've asked for advice about these measurements and marking out a pitch because they'd started marking pitch out in metres and it wanted marking out in yards. So I went up and I explained it to him.
so can I just clarify? You just said so. If council staff ask us for advice, we can now give advice.
No, I
That
went,
is just
I
so
rang
wrong.
Alan up to ask that they wanted that advice and Alan said, that's not a problem, Jim, but because we'll mark it pitch out wrong. And if that pitch is marked out wrong or not marked out, them teams that play on it get £100 fine each time. So I'll move on then to number 15, public participation committee meetings to consider the standard inclusion of public question time for committee meetings. Well, I've put this on for leisure and rec, policy and different other things. Under the old regime, there were no public question time. You had to write in, and if it didn't fit, you didn't get your question answered. So this council did bring back public question time, and we do have audience participation. So, like you put your hand up, we've involved you, we've invited, and I think it's a good thing what we decided. And so I just want to make it legit now that on finance meetings or policy meetings, committee meetings, that members of the public are in, providing it's on that specific item that's on the agenda. Are we all in favour of letting people, if they've got a problem?
We've always done that anyway.
Yes, I know that, but
If
it's
it's
not.
relevant to the agenda and
Yes.
that, you know, because we like to hear
Yeah.
and an idea, we've
Yeah.
always, I have.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's nothing to do with the agenda and it's just to, you know, just to stir a bit of trouble or whatever.
It has to be specific to
Yeah,
agenda,
well, we've
but
always done that, so I'll agree to
it's
that.
just putting it in stone now, Alan, yes, so are we all in favour of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say thank you for coming?
Right, love, yeah, it's needed doing, didn't it?
So, number 16, Newstead Strip Car Park. Further to minute 348, 2021-22, to consider request to provide rubber matting so that residents can park the cars on a strip of land during inclement weather, and or to consider constructing a permanent car park on a parted strip for residents to park. Well, over years, you know, from 2011 and the past 2 or 3 years, members of the public that live on Newstead Terrace have written and asked for requests to put flags down and outstanding to park the cars on, and we've given written response giving them permission that they can put these flags down, but obviously land still belongs to the town council. So my view is that if members of Newstead, residents in Newstead want to park the cars there, then like anybody else, I don't think there's a problem with providing the old outstanding our flags. If we put tarmac down, we have to go through a planning process, don't we, Alan? And you're looking to tarmac that strip about £80,000. So rubber matting, what costs for rubber matting, Alan?
That's 17,000.
17,000.
On Newstead Terrace?
Yeah.
Whereabouts on Newstead Terrace?
Back.
View.
Newstead View, sorry, Newstead View.
Oh, wait, Lambton.
I'm going to say he's talking about it should be talking about Newstead View.
Yeah, Newstead View, I apologise, yeah.
I was just going to say, because Newstead Terrace.
So,
Yeah.
so you're looking at 17,000 for rubber matting that can be stolen, so.
Yeah.
I mean, my view is it's a non-entity like, so.
You know, if you did secure that, you also have to consider other people would park overnight there, if you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
You know, but yes, my view is if a member of the public wants to do something themselves, and
So, is any councillor in favour of spending 17,000 on rubber matting? So, obviously, do all councillors feel it's a non-entity for now, but we'll allow residents if they want to put flags down for the own hard standard on council land, yeah? We're all in favour for that then, yeah?
I believe I have to abstain on this one. Because I live on that street. I think Alan counted me at the beginning.
Sorry?
I think I've got an interest in this one, so I don't think I can vote.
Oh, you can't vote, Paul, please.
No.
I didn't speak at all, so it all.
That's why we don't talk.
Yeah, so you've declared an interest.
Sorry, I thought it counted me at the beginning. I thought it got me on that list.
You've got an interest in that? Yes, we do. We don't live on it, Newstead View.
Item number 17, Lakeside Cafe heating system and lift. To consider the respective procurements, installation of a new heating system and a lift in the cafe bar.
I'd like to put a memorandum forward, motion forward, that we're going to install a lift down at the water park. We're losing a lot of trade and getting people on the trade dying, right? And we can't use this water park. The water park, believe it or not, is our diamond, without doubt. We've got to put a lift in for funerals, weddings and everything. And we need it urgent.
I think what it is now, we're penalising disabled.
That's right.
Because some of the people that are coming, some of them will have a function downstairs because they're not prepared to see the grandparents downstairs while they're upstairs, so they've compromised. I think she's just had a wedding down there, and they had it downstairs because of wheelchairs. We've been saying for a long time now, it's equal opportunities, and as a council, and I said this last time, we should be practising. Good practice is to get a lift for wheelchairs.
I've brought this up time and time
Under,
again.
We need
under the Equality Act, to be fair, we should allow access for disabled people.
Of course we should.
We penalise them for having a wheelchair.
I think Sean mentioned it not long since, that, you know, if funds were available when we discussed completing sale of that land, you are in favour of that, so.
So if you remember back to before that, when you brought this up first, and nobody disagreed, we don't need a lift, what we said was, can we have a plan, can we have costings, where's the lift going to go? Yeah. Make it a proper business plan, then bring that back to the council. Have you done that? How much are we going to make, or how much will we lose? Have we looked at the stair lift rather than a lift lift? Have we got anything written down?
Yeah.
Present us with that.
We've had some prices.
So we can make decisions on
It's not just prices.
on proper. Yeah. So where's it going to go? Is there a plan? Where's the plan? How much of the, or if any of the play area are we going to lose? What's it going to cost? How much have we lost due, you know, what have we lost, because people have said, I'm sorry, I'm not taking that facility. So you can cost it and say, well, it's going to cost us X, but over 3 years we will make more than that back. So you've got a proper business plan.
Yeah.
We're not saying no,
I'm
we're saying
sorry,
actually
Sean,
not
that
that.
must have been at me as well, because I didn't hear all that, what you just said
That's
last
got a plan.
meeting. I just thought it got refused. Am I right, Alan?
It got refused based on a business
It was
plan.
refused. And Alan's just confirmed it. It was refused. If that had been the point, if that would have been the what you said, I'm sure we'd have had something, or Alan would have had something here to put forward, so we can have all this year to look forward to people who can get upstairs. Because don't forget, a lot of residents use Water Park who would like to have the occasions down there. You've seen how beautiful it is on Facebook. It's well promoted. Inside the cafe bar is promoted. So if you'd have said that, Sean, someone would have been here ready, I'm sure, because it's urgent. So, Chair, can we get this speeded up?
It was a bit in principle, details could then have brought back.
Yeah, so the only thing is, so the last time.
This is what I'm saying about consultations and...
That's not consultations, asking for a proper business plan.
But
So the last time this council voted on it without a proper plan, we ended up with £8,000 finger fine.
Sean,
You know what I'm saying?
Sean, to be fair, there's a lot of people phoning up that's disabled and they won't book that room upstairs because the evidence is from manager that's taking bookings.
I asked him a couple of meetings ago.
Yes,
I asked him a couple of meetings ago.
So in principle, let's cut to chase, in principle, you're looking at between 16 and 18,000 pound on prices.
So that's gone up £6,000 since last time.
Well, can we have Venga boys then and put a proper lift in and a proper thing in down there then? What's that?
I could go get the notes that I wrote at the time, it says £12,000.
Well,
Stop wasting money on something else.
So, in principle, Gordon, just let me finish with this. In principle, so we move progress then. Are we all in favour? You're looking at between 16 and 18 on these lifts that we've got. You can get one wheelchair and two people in.
Chair.
They've got to be in Alfreds.
Can I just say, let's just not say the lift, because we know,
Well,
like Sean's just said,
we
we
need
know
split.
that what we're going to alter to put this list, it's not going to be that cost. We need to get a costing for the lift, all the caboodle, so it's all going to be done and we've got one price and then we can say, well, yeah.
It's going to cost us X.
But if it's over 25, it's got to go to consultation.
Right, so...
And I was splitting out the eating as well, because that needs splitting out, doesn't it? These are two different items here.
Chair, what about this children's play area? What's going to happen to that?
Nothing, I hope.
It'll still be there. There's two places you can
I
put
mean,
it.
it's getting boarded up at the moment, like, it's...
Well, I think they've boarded that up because of people that coming in on a Sunday and Wednesday dinners, you know, noise from kids, which has cut sound down.
It has eased the noise a little bit. I mean, it has eased the noise. It hasn't stopped it, but it has eased it, and it looks all right. But
No, it's all right, but you can't see your kids.
That's where you ought to have a DVR check.
I thought you can sit.
Well, there's only room for 8 people, 8 adults round that side, isn't there, like, and it's blocking view off for kids. It's for parents
See,
to see
trying
the
to
children, like.
trying to suit one and so customers that are coming
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
I
it's
know,
like,
I know.
you know, it's like.
I mean,
So,
are you thinking of putting it there and taking part in play area?
there's
I want
there's
to
3
Well,
places.
this is the whole point of this decision making
Yeah.
we're talking about. We're being asked to make a decision
No,
here.
we're not being
and we
asked to
haven't.
make a decision. What we
You're
said.
saying in principle.
No,
That's a
what-
decision in
no,
principle.
no, you-
Can I?
No, just 1 minute though. What we're asking here is
I
that
doubt it.
we get somebody in that can give us a plan and design and a price, and then we can progress it.
No,
That's
that's
what we're looking
fine.
at.
But we also, but there's other things that Sean was asking for, so we want to understand how it impacts, like, the future business. I mean, is it £71,000 a year that we lose having the water park, the Lakeside Cafe? So is that going to reduce that deficit that we've got? We want to know things like that. We want to know how it's going to benefit us. At the moment, I don't think we are discriminating against people because we've got something we can offer them downstairs. So if we're saying, you know, we've got to be really careful with the language that we're using. If we're putting a lift in to bring in more money, how much more money is that going to be?
Well, downstairs has always been known as a public area. So if you've got somebody that's got disabled people for a private function, they're not going to get a private function downstairs when it's open to members of the public. Upstairs, you can have your private functions.
Tell us how much more money it's going to bring in
And
then.
what we'll do, we'll ask for a survey on what parties, Alan, you can do that,
Well,
where we
Alan,
refuse people to have a function that had probably brought £1,000 a time in.
Chair, can I just ask Alan if there's been any emails or has anything been mentioned from management to you regarding the functions? Can you just clarify?
Yes, there has, yes.
Did you read them, Alan?
We're not disputing that, we're just saying.
So,
No, but you're just saying, where's the evidence?
so look, it's easy done. Alan's got evidence regarding people that have complained that we haven't got a lift. I've had a few people complaining against that.
Can we see it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, to bring it back to you. So that we can move one step forward and bring that back, and then we can get some costings, get a lift engineer out to see where the best place is to site it, yeah? Yes, Nancy?
On the Facebook thing, people had been asking if there was lifts. I think there was a lass called Jackie had asked, and a few people had said they'd been phoning and saying that there's no, and that is on Facebook, saying that there's no.
That's the
access
same
to
person that asked me
disability.
for a mum's birthday.
I'm not
We
disputing
have to
that,
go
it's just-
somewhere else.
I mean,
So-
I've looked at stairlifts as well, we put that option in. Another option, look at a stairlift.
Yeah, I'm saying we can get a price for
Take
that.
up the stairs rather than the lift going up.
So that's where
Could we
we are.
potentially look at closing off to the public on a certain date? You know, if someone wants to book out downstairs, like you can do in other areas, we could maybe close it off, because you're not going to get a great deal of people in the water park on a Thursday afternoon, for example, are you? So if you could close off to the general public, does that offset what you're going to spend on a lift?
Yeah, but then, sorry on the boat, we have to, you know, obviously, you're new to council, and I think you'll find that we'll upset somebody down the line, and it will be on Facebook, and, you know, they can't get a drink, a cup of tea or coffee. My mum and dad wanted a cup of tea, wanted to fetch kids into play area. That's what you're up against. That's why you have a room, a function room, away from public, because that's still got to, it's the parishioners that are paying for it, they want access to it, and that's what it is.
The lift is needed urgently.
If we can,
People are going away.
If we can put a project together and a business plan, then Alan, yeah, with some costing spot lifts, let an engineer come out to see where the best place to site it, and then bring it back and get it done as soon as possible.
And then obviously the second to that is a heating system, which we've only got one boiler, I think, that's a bit dodgy as well. Well, I've been coming to council meetings for 3.5 to 3 years, and talking about this one heater that's not working right.
Yeah, once again, we don't have funds.
No, so we need to look at, I mean,
budget for that you were allocated. We have got funds now, you can see, I think everybody can see what money's in bank that
I
belongs
think
to
the heating
the
system's slightly different with the heating system's a necessity.
Yeah.
So,
well, once again,
it's a necessity, it's a legal necessity.
Well, we better start asking public now then, Sean, because it's going to be more than
It's
25,000 for
No,
meeting.
it's an emergency.
Goes under emergency maintenance.
We already agreed that, it's an emergency, we need it doing.
So can we get some quotes for that, Alan?
Also for heating as well.
Yeah.
The system itself's okay, the radiators and
It's the
everything.
thermostat,
It's
the
just the
boilers.
boiler and the thermostat that need doing. So
I'm
don't
guessing they're
think
not
it's-
your average combi boilers,
I
I'm guessing
mean,
the big one.
for commercial,
It's
Gene,
not.
you'll probably be able to get something like that for about £8,000.
No, not a chance, I think.
This is commercial.
Well, how much did that cost?
It's all double it costs you, say, you're a business.
Let's just get a cost
Yeah.
Jim, and fetch it.
We've got to have it. That's
So are we all agreed with that then,
Yeah.
to get costings and a survey and then bring it back, yeah? So we've got it right.
About time.
Item number 18, budgets and precepts, 2020-23. To receive the recommendations of the Finance Committee and to determine the budget in accordance with the precept of the year commencing 1st of April 2022 and to authorise the Town Clerk to issue a formal request to Wakefield Council. So what this is that members decided at Finance meeting to keep the precept the same.
Recommended at Finance.
Yeah, recommended, yeah, and to keep it the same. Have you got that list?
I can read it out if you want.
Yeah, if you will. If I can just pass it on to Jean, Jean's Chair of Finance.
Yeah, so Barclays accounts, 500, members have got it in front of them as well. 531,954. That includes monies from Kirby Road. CCLA deposit fund, which is 230, that's never changed. Also, the 87,000 CCLA has never changed. That's a total of 848,054 that we, to date, what we have been.
We've done well.
So, what you've just been told there, I think you've got a leaflet to represent that.
Chair, sorry, can I just mention as well, I'm not making an excuse about COVID because it did actually happen, and the first year we were trading, we made a surplus. Am I right, Alan? We made a surplus in the first year when we put the bar and everything in. And if that would have continued, then don't forget we went back into lockdown then for 18 months. Or we were on restrictions, so we were limited to what we could do. just imagine if we'd have kept that open, COVID hadn't have happened, then we wouldn't be putting money into it, because I think we'll always put money into it because we've got the upkeep of all the buildings and everything.
And 80,000
We'll always,
pounds,
but that's what your precepts
Yeah,
for.
right.
That's what your precepts for. So that's how I look at it. It's unfortunate that it's happened, but we could have been a lot more surplus than what we are now. So in considering, I think we've done, I mean, all right, we've had some sales money a little bit from him, but I don't think, so we've kept the precept down as well. And we intend to obviously keep that going, hopefully. I don't think we've done bad.
You know what surplus they made that first year?
Sorry?
You know what surplus? A rough figure what surplus was that year about?
Well, we can give you figures what we did in the bank.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
For completeness, the first year the revenue did go up on the lakeside, but there was significant capital spent as well.
To fit it off the road, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd also like to mention, you know, over the years, when we've had bonfires previously, it's cost council between £6,000 and £7,000 for bonfires. Well received, always has been for the last 20 years. We usually reduce the take between £500 and £700 on that bonfire night because Cafe closed early. In 2019 we took in excess of £3,500 because we kept Cafe open, and we did his own stalls. In fact, Jean worked hard selling hot dogs and burgers for us. And in 2020, obviously because of the pandemic, we didn't have a bonfire, but it was agreed last year that we would do everything in-house at this bonfire that we had last year, 2021. And I don't know if you've noticed it on accounts, but it was a great success. From 5 o'clock till 9 o'clock, they took £9,300 on 5th of November, so, you know, it's been a big improvement on that. I'd also like to say that while the pandemic were on, we kept Windy's Cafe open outside so that people could have a drink, and that took just in excess of 110,000 over that 10 months, which obviously were well received and well done by members of staff. So I'd like to thank management and staff at Lakeside Cafe and Park, what they've done. I'd like to thank Alan through the pandemic, you know, what he's done sticking by. He's never had a day off or missed a beat. I'd also like to thank councillors for attending meetings that they've done and for attending Zoom meetings that were difficult at times. So, you know, while we're on that point, thank you for that. Yeah, as is stated, we've got £848,054 in bank at the minute, which puts us in a good financial position. And with a precept that we're due to get on 1st of April, we'll have in excess of 1.5 million. That's about right, isn't it, Alan? Yeah.
That's assuming the precept's approved, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, well, it's, we have a vote on that. This will be the 3rd year that we've kept it safe, it's not gone up. So can we have a vote, members, that we keep precept same again?
Same banding, Mr. Chairman.
Same banding, yeah. You know, there's no increase on the precept.
Bandy, yeah.
Have we any questions from members on finances? You're all okay?
Yeah, question from me. Should, for whatever reason, the Bengal Boys Council either be cancelled or not go ahead or doesn't make money, where will the money that we've lost come from? Will that need to come from that reserve pot as well?
When Venga Boys were brought up, we did put a reserve pot to one side, didn't we, Alan, which is all included in that, you know, that we're carrying forward.
There's a 10,000 in the revenue budget for it, and then if the ticket sales don't match the spend, then that will have to come from somewhere. Either, well, there are two ways, reserves or cuts from other budgets.
Perhaps will not get done, lads.
So I'll move on then to...
Just reserves, or is that got as precepts in it?
No,
that's what we've got as of today.
So it's got its precepts, what budget is
1st of April will be a further.
Yeah, but this has got to keep us going until 1st of April.
Yeah, which is...
That's just...
Let's just cancel Venga Boys, so we're not worried about that damn money, because it's just...
And there's been a formal decision made on it.
I did not vote.
Until it comes up. Number 19, Sandygate Football Facility staffing to consider external recruitment of a permanent member of staff to enable the facilities to be fully staffed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. currently undergoing an internal recruitment for it, which the council approved a few weeks ago. This is just a bit of a melt and braces approach, just in case that recruitment isn't successful. I'd like permission from the council to an external recruitment. It may not be necessary, but if it isn't successful, I don't want to wait till the next meeting to get approval again.
Yes,
Chair, can I just mention about that as well? If we do recruit somebody, whoever it is, can we just recruit for the hours that we need them? Because the problem we had before is they were there, say 8 hours, when there were only 4 hours being used, so they were there for 4 hours, getting paid for 4 hours, and there was nothing to do because there were no matches on. Can we just pay them? Can we just do the hours that, you know, that we need them up there, and not just to sit around and, you know, watch a gate all day?
So if you can check up on that, Alan, yeah.
It's all on paper.
Yeah, what Alan, what Jim was saying were, they usually arrive at 10 o'clock, they do checks on the ground for safety, pictures and astroturf, and then we're not getting anybody in while 3 o'clock after school time, so if that can be reduced, that's what you mean, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
And they don't need
Just
4
in case
hours
we're
to
doing
do
4
what they're
hours
doing. Yeah.
in an 8-hour shift.
And then if you can try and work it within the staff that we've got, Alan, because we have got plenty of members of staff when they all turn up.
Is that approved, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, that's approved. Yeah, we're all in favour of that. Number 20, subject tax request. The town clerk to report an anonymised subject tax request and to authorise the response accordingly. I think that's something that we're duty bound to do.
You've got to do this, Chairman.
Are we all in favour of that? Yeah. Number 21, freedom of information request. The town clerk to report an anonymised freedom of information request to receive and to authorise the respective response accordingly.
Two more this week, Mr. Chairman. One about the recruitment for the head of security role, and the other one about the legal costs at the Kirby Road site.
Yeah, no problems with that, Alan. Number 22, councillors' surgeries to consider matters pertaining to councillors' surgeries. Well, I've asked this to be put on agenda to clarify a point that I think you mentioned, Maxine, that you've got a surgery to be held at Kingsley Coronation Club. But it don't include, it's not been approved, or it don't include all councillors, so it's an informal meeting, it's not a formal meeting.
Excuse me, but I've already been through it all with John Ticket and everybody. I am allowed to do it.
I'm not.
This is not just me doing it. There's a few of the councillors going to do it. So you can't say that I'm a Labour, you're independent. Through Labour, I can do surgeries.
Anyone can do a surgery.
I'm not saying you can. All I'm saying is, can you just clarify that it's not run and all other councils are going to turn up? Some people might think that, you know, it's going to be a meeting like this.
I have clarified it on my post. I've told them that I will put in a list of councillors who will be there on the post.
Yeah, it's better, but
They'll be ready. If
yeah,
you've read it, you should have read that.
all I read was it looked as though it were an official council meeting that you were doing. That question that I got asked.
It wasn't. It's not. Whoever it is should have read it.
Item number 23, Kirby Road Complex, to confirm the legal matters pertaining to the former sports complex at Kirby Road have now been concluded. Do you want to?
Yeah, just to pretty much state the obvious, Mr. Chairman, the agreement reached and decided by the council in December was executed just before Christmas, so it's now concluded, Mr. Chairman.
So basically, we have no more liabilities now on Kirby Road Complex, which I'd just like to mention to people that over the years, this council paid in excess of £30,000 to residents adjacent to that site on hotweed and other damage to trees and stuff, when it should have been transferred and deal completed in 2012. So, end of the day now, there's no more liabilities to that, and hopefully the developer will start to tidy it up, because there's tons and tons of rubbish and waste being tipped on that site, and it does need tidying. Like I said before, I'll just mention figures. The previous council agreed to waive any further interest or payments to this council in 2015. At mediation and negotiations, I thank Maxine for attending and giving her time up. We negotiated a payment of 182,000 from the developer, which more than covered his costs and gave us funds to uplift and other things that we've got in bank now. And they also agreed that we could keep the £50,000 Section 106 money. So all in all, it was a good thing, well done, and deal's been completed. It's taken 7 years and 5 months. Item number 24, Hemsworth Cemetery, to consider asking Wakefield Council for permission to conduct litter picking and minor ground maintenance in the cemetery. That's something that I've put on. I've got a small group that's about eight people that's going to attend. And if any other members would like to attend, just to help to tidy the cemetery up, and if anybody wants an hand to tidy the graves up, or onto the headstones, if it's leaning or whatever, then I'll add somebody up with the tools and we can assist on that.
No, with headstones.
Headstones.
Yeah.
Can't put that.
Well, maintenance of the site. Yeah. I know we did a good job at Memorial Garden last time we went up. We cleared loads of litter and we cut a load of trees, trimmed a load of trees for them. So, before nesting season comes in. Like I said, we've got some volunteers.
Before what comes in?
Before nesting season comes in. We've got some trees to cut back on as you go in, quite a lot.
Yeah, no, I go up there sometimes.
So if any councillors want to get involved on that, we can arrange a week or Sunday on them, yeah?
You better hurry up,
Nine.
feeling nesting season.
9, 1, 11.
It's not to be approved tonight, I've got to speak for permission, so assuming the permission comes through in time.
They don't like it nesting up there,
Well, if it's
no.
3 weeks then, yeah?
They like the nesting.
Will we make it before March, because then you're breaking law?
So, is everybody in favour of that? Is that okay, yeah? That we can
They break it law by cutting trees down.
In March, yeah.
Yeah, you
From
are.
March onwards.
You are break it law by cutting trees down.
Yeah, but if that's what we make it before March.
Well, if somebody reports you for cutting them down and stopping nesting, you'll be in big trouble. Talking thousands.
all that's been done before, they've just been pruned and they've been cut back and there were no nesting trees. I mean, if a developer's doing a building site in June, he's got
And they're not allowed to do it, they put nets over to keep
permission,
it clear.
there's no
Yeah.
nesting
Till
trees,
winter.
then it
They've got to put the
continues.
nets over, yeah, like Maxine said. It's this season's is all different to what they usually are, aren't they?
Just as
Yeah.
long as it's before
Item
March.
number 25, the Hemsworth Water Park Nature Walk, to consider offering nature walks around the park with a lunch at the cafe to local primary schools. We've got a budget of grants. I don't think it's going to bust bank this. I just feel it's a good thing for Hemsworth, Kingsley and Fitzwilliam, for primary schools and infant schools, if they can bring them down to do a nature walk, provide them with a lunch in the summer.
Yeah, as long as you leave some birds' nests alone.
So,
Is this all primary school?
yes,
Yeah.
in terms of kids and
Yeah.
Fitzwilliam, and then, if there's 20 or 30 come and they have a couple of hours doing drawings and writing things down and looking at ducks, birds and different things and wildlife.
It's a brilliant
And then
idea.
we can sit them outside on a nice day and provide them, with a sandwich and a hot drink or lunch.
Yeah, it's an
We've
absolute
got
brilliant
16,000 in grants as well on account. Yeah, I think we've got 16,000 in grants for this year, so we can use it out of that. So, are we all in favour of that? Then, yeah.
No, it's brilliant. It's best thing that you've come up with tonight.
Thank you, Item number 27, storage unit and the water park security. Sorry? Oh, sorry, excluding the press and public. Apologise. Yes, excluding the press and public, members of the public and the press. Yes, Jeff, sorry.
Going back to item 17, the lift.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to put it on the outside if we can't get it inside, depending on cost and everything?
Yeah, that's. I think 2.5 years ago, Jeff, we did have a firm come out and they looked at spots inside and they looked at the outside. And obviously, we didn't have funds available. Then pandemic hit, so we just left it off. But if we get an elite engineer in to look at it and he'll decide which is best costed, then bring it back to the board.
Yeah, like Jean says, that it's a good idea, is that, and then it doesn't affect any children's play area inside, does it?
Once again then, item number 26,
Yeah,
exclusion of
no
press and
problem.
public. Members of the public and the press to be excluded for the consideration of the business of a confidential nature as per the Public Bodies Admissions Act 1960. Thank you for attending tonight, ladies and gentlemen, members of the public, and we hope to see you in the near future. It shouldn't be too long now, Louise.
I always get some.